Top of the morning, fight fans. This is Kurt DeVille with Counterpunch Boxing News, and I have some new news concerning Martin Bakole. Get this. Martin Bakole claims that he stopped Daniel Dubois and Oleksandr Usyk in sparring. Top heavyweight contender Martin Bakole claims that he has already stopped both Usyk and Dubois in sparring. Bakole has been out of the ring since May when he handed the Olympic gold medal winner Tony Yoka his first career defeat, but he is hoping to secure a world title shot at some description before 2023's out. The 18-1 heavyweight believes the WBA regular champion Dubois is a realistic target, but Bakole believes the Londoner will swerve the fight because of what happened when they sparred. And this is what he said. He said, Daniel Dubois is the fight I want. I've sparred him twice, and I stopped him twice in sparring. He knows that if we fight, I think I'll stop him in the first or second round. I'm calling him out, and I want him to be ready for me, and I want that fight. I can't wait. People are hiding because they don't want to fight me because I made the mistake from sparring them in the gym. Bakole was brought in by the WBA, the WBO, the IBO, and the IBF champion Usyk for sparring when he was preparing for his rematch with Anthony Joshua in Dubai training camp. And Bakole added, even Usyk, I stopped him in sparring in Dubai, and he knows that. Wow. Of course, Usyk is currently heading into a full division unification with Tyson Fury on April 29th. That's the targeted date. And let me counterpunch. Wow. Listen, to me, Martin Bakole, okay, he sounds like a desperate fighter. And the reason why I say that is because, okay, you had a guy that hasn't fought since May, okay? He hasn't fought since May, and he claims that he stopped Daniel Dubois, which is the WBA regular champion, and the unified champion, Oleksandr Usyk. And that's the last time he's fought. And he claims because he's knocked them and stopped them, that's why they don't want to fight him. And I think that's wrong for both levels. Now, if it happened, it's ballsy, and then I guess it's like I said, it's he's very desperate, but it's also very reckless, right? Because him doing that type of stuff, if Bakole, and this is how fighters get paid. If you fight and your last fight was next year, and your money's getting low, or last year, should I say, and your money's getting low, like probably Bakole's money is getting low now, you're going to start relying on being hired as, just like he was, as a sparring partner to make some extra ends. Either it's $1,000 a week or a bulk or amount of how much you'll be in that training camp or whatever, but mostly sparring partners get paid by the week, okay? And Bakole saying that, it just shows you that it's reckless and it's desperate, and it's not too classy either. Why? Because, the rule of thumb is what goes on in sparring stays in sparring. The only thing that really happens a lot of times when people share sparring stories is when someone tries to throw someone under the bus and then everything comes out like, oh, that mother sucker said this. What? Well, hold on. This is actually what happened. I knocked him out. I hit him with a left hook. The coach came in and stopped me and tried to send me home. A lot of things like that happens. Okay. And, do I believe it? It could happen. I mean, it's sparring. And understand something about sparring. Sparring is fighting, because what people don't understand, you're still getting punched. You're still taking punishment. You better ask Anthony Joshua and Joey DeWaco. You better ask these type of fights. You better ask numerous of guys that knocked out guys. Like speaking of Daniel Dubois. Daniel Dubois is supposed to knock out Anthony Joshua earlier in his career. Okay, people don't contest it. It's just, will Daniel Dubois mention that in public? No. Now, he won't really say it didn't happen. He'll just kind of sit there and, you know what I mean? But what he won't do, he won't come out and disrespect someone like that, because you don't know where you're going to be. You don't know where you're going to end up. You know where you've been, but you don't know where you're going. So a lot of these times, you know, when people start doing that, you start getting a bad reputation, and that's going to spread. The boxing circles are very small, okay? Even from the UK over to the USA and all other branches of the world, people hear stuff. That's why a lot of times boxers are sent over to another country, because they need a certain similar type of style, because it's based on what they need, right? But if that fighter is proven to be running his mouth and talking about what goes on in sparring, this, that, and the other, that's not good. See, there's a difference between seeing a reporter like an Oleksandr reporting, or some other guy in there that's recording footage, and then they have it and they have that footage. Now, they might employ them like, hey, please don't let this out because we don't want this to happen. Well, you know, but then they could do so. But then again, the same rules apply, because if they ask Ellie Setback, like, hey, do not release this, and he does, well, they're not gonna mess with him again. So that's gonna be a blow against him. And the same thing goes for sparring fighters. You know, guys that get in there and they get paid to spar. So if he doesn't get a fight, and this is like some type of way to a ballsy way or a reckless way to get a fight, I think he's going about it wrong. But saying all that to say this, is it really true what he did? Because my thing is, nothing was specific. It wasn't specific at all. It was just like, you know, oh, I stopped them both. Like, what'd you hit him with? You hit Usyk with a body shot. Did you hit Dubois with an uppercut? It wasn't very detailed, you know. So do I doubt it? I mean, I wouldn't be surprised, but I don't really, you know, for him to come out and say that, and it is true, and people know it's true, they're going to look at it and they're going to frown on it. Okay. And Martin Bakole, you know, he has one loss. I get it, but then at the end of the day, Martin Bakole, you know, he may have put himself in a situation where people don't want to deal with him. So, you know, I hope his career does well. He is a heavy-handed guy, though, you know, with 13 KOs and only 18 fights. You know, he knows how to get the job done. But, you know, other than that, if he loses, that's how people's career and livelihood get affected, by the choices that they make to run their mouth about what goes on in sparring, you know. But understand, sparring is practicing. It's just practicing very, very dangerously. When you can lose your life sparring people, sparring is dangerous as well. You just have headgear on. Some of the people do if they choose to. You know, like Mike Tyson didn't use it. Regis Prograis right now representing Louisiana, New Orleans, he doesn't use it. Okay, so, you know, that just goes to show you that sparring can be dangerous too. But this is huge news, very interesting news from Martin Bakole, saying that he stopped Daniel Dubois and Oleksandr Usyk. And I can understand him speaking Dubois, because, hey, they have that history, right? But then what I don't understand is, why did he bring Usyk up? He's not going to get a fight with Usyk. But then again, maybe hopefully on his behalf, maybe the negotiations fall apart between Tyson Fury and Oleksandr Usyk, and then of course would be left with the WBA, you know. And he's still not that guy. So I still don't get that. But anyway, you guys tell me what you think of Martin Bakole saying that he stopped Oleksandr Usyk and Daniel Dubois. Of course, please subscribe. And you guys been Counterpunch.